Hey everybody, welcome to Boardgame Heaven. My name is Raymond, and in this video I'm taking a look at Trio by Kaya Miyano, published by Cocktail Games. This is a set collecting game for 3 to 6 players, ages 7 and up, which plays in about 15 minutes. And before I explain how to set up and play the game and share my thoughts on it, I'd like to ask you all to please hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. That really helps the channel, and if you're already subscribed, thank you so much. You're an absolute legend. Also check out my Patreon page if you'd like to support what I do, and supporters of my channel get early access to all of my videos, access to Patreon exclusive videos, and your name in the credits as well. Alright, with that out of the way, let's set up a game. To set up a game of Trio, just take all the cards, give those a good shuffle, and then depending on the number of players, deal out a number of cards face down to the table and divide all the other cards among the players. So in a 3-player game, you will have 9 cards face down on the table, and every player will also have 9 cards in their hand. In a 4-player game, you will have 8 cards on the table, and players will have 7 cards. And in a 5-player game, you will only have 6 cards on the table, and players will have 6 cards in their hands. And in a 6-player game, you will also have 6 cards on the table, but players will have 5 cards on their hand. There are 36 cards in the game, 3 of each number of the numbers 1 through 12. The aim of the game is to collect trios of any of these numbers. There's a simple mode and a spicy mode to play the game. In the simple mode, if you collect trios of any 3 numbers, you win the game. Or if you manage to collect all 3 sevens, you immediately win the game as well. In the advanced mode, which they call the spicy mode, you win by either collecting 2 connected trios, which you can identify by the numbers in the corners of some of these sets. So for example, if you collected 3 6s and also 3 1s, which is also indicated here, you win the game. In the case of the 3 1s, you could also have 3 8s and 3 1s and win. And here the 3 says you can collect 3 3s and 3 4s, or 3 3s and 3 10s and win the game. Or again, if you collect all 3 the 7s, you also immediately win the game. So then decide whether you want to play the regular mode or the spicy mode. Pick up all your cards and sort them in numerical order. So you always sort them like this, from low to high, because this is an important element of the game. On a player's turn, they will reveal a numbered card, and they will reveal them one by one, and they can continue doing so as long as they are identical. So as soon as 2 numbers are different, your turn is over, you stop. So first of all, for each number you can decide to reveal a card from the middle of the table or from a player's hand, including their own hand. And you can ask for a player's lowest or highest number, or just take your lowest or highest number from your hand. And a player's turn ends in one of 2 ways. Either the player completes a trio and seals the deal by taking those 3 cards face up, puts them in front of themselves, or a revealed number, like I said, is different from the previous one. And all the revealed numbers are put back in place, face down in the middle of the table, or returned to their owner's hands. And in both cases, it is then the next player's turns. Now, a couple of important rules are that you can perform the exact same action several times. So you can, for example, ask an opponent to reveal their highest or their lowest cards a couple of times in a row. And if, that second card is again the same card, then you can just continue your turn. And when a player has no more cards left in their hand, when it's their turn, they still play using the cards in the middle of the table or in their opponent's hands. So let's say I'm starting the game and it's my turn. I'm just gonna pick a card from the table, flip that over, and look, that's a 12. Now I also have a 12. So I could play this and continue, but I don't know where the third is, and I don't want to give away too much information from my own hand. So I'm just gonna see if maybe there is another 12 on the table, but I'm gonna take a gamble and ask one of the players to show their highest cards. So I'm gonna ask this player if they want to show me their highest card. So they will flip over their highest card and show that to everybody, and that is a 10. So that's a different card, so they take back their card, this one gets flipped over, and my turn is over. Now it's the next player's card. They now know that that is a 12, and of course they know their own cards, but I know that they have a 10 as well. So maybe this player is going to flip over this card, that's an 8. So odds are that other players will not have an 8 as their lowest or highest card at the beginning of the game. So they're just gonna go ahead and flip over another card, and that's an 11. Two different cards, so their turn is over, and everybody remembers that this is an 8 and this is an 11. Now it's the third player's turn. They're gonna do the same. They're gonna flip over a card. That's a 9. Let's flip over another one, and that's a 3. So just remember that. Now, that's a lot to remember already, so I need to find another 12. So I'm gonna ask this player first to show me their highest card. I'm gonna show me the card. That's an 11. Now I know that one of these cards is an 11, and I also have an 11 right here, but I can't play it yet because I need to get rid of the 12 first. This is not my highest card. So I'm just gonna have to remember that this player's highest card is an 11, and I know their next card isn't an 11 because it's on the table and I have the third one. So let's just reveal another card here. Let's reveal this card, and this is a 6. So we try to remember that. These cards go back, etc. So let's say at some point I reveal a card, and look at there is the third 12. So I reveal that one. I know this is a 12 as well, so I flip this over. Now I have two 12s. That means I can continue, and I have the third one, so I simply play that one from my hand, and now I've got a trio. So I take those 3 cards, put them in front of myself on the table. That is the end of my turn. Now it's the next player. And play simply continues like that until the winning condition is met, meaning in the normal mode you have 3 trios, or you manage to get the 3 7s, then you immediately win. Or in the spicy mode, you try to match one trio with another trio as indicated on the card. So if I had the 12s here and I managed to get the 3 5s as well, I immediately win, or again by scoring the 3 7s. You can also play a team variant with 4 or 6 players only. So in the setup of that game, you simply deal out all the cards. There are no cards on the table, and you make teams of 2 players. So in a 6-player game, you will all get 6 cards, and you will have 3 teams of 2 players. In a 4-player game, everybody gets 9 cards, and you'll have 2 teams of 2 players. Teammates will always sit opposite from each other. So if this is me, that is my teammate. These 2 people are partnered, and those 2 people are partnered as well. Now, after sorting your cards from lowest to highest value, you can swap one of your cards with your partner, and all teams can do this at the same time. And you of course swap them secretly, so you can take a card and put it face down on the table, slide it over to your partner, they do the same, and then just discreetly put it in the right spot on your hand. Other than swapping a card, you cannot communicate with your partner, so no secret signals or kicking under the table is allowed. The winning conditions are exactly the same as in the normal game. You can play the simple mode or the spicy mode, exactly the same. And every time a team collects a trio, the opposing teams can do a new swap. And teams, of course, share their collected trios. So that means if a team collects 3 trios or 2 trios following the spicy rules, or the 7 trio, that team wins. And those are all the rules on how to play trio. Let's go to my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on Trio by Cocktail Games. Well, let's start with the components. You get a compact little box, sturdy box with all of these cards, which are nice and big. Quite some big cards. They are of a standard card quality. They have a linen finish, looks really nice. And I love the illustrations. The artwork is really cool. It's very simple, very abstract, just has a color, the number in the big white numbers there, and some cool illustrations on them as well. Looks really nice. And there's 12 numbers in the game and 3 of each. So there's not too many cards, but that's the whole point. You just need to find 3 of the same card. There is no real theme here. It looks a bit Mexican, Day of the Dead kind of themed. It has luchadors on it, it has the skulls on it, cacti, llamas, stuff like that, which looks really nice, but doesn't really matter for the gameplay, so no extra points for that, although I do love the art, like I said. The gameplay is very straightforward, very simple. You can teach the game in 5 minutes and just get started. And all it takes is a bit of memory, of course, because that is what the game is about. The rules are just a little leaflet, double-sided here, and you can play the game in a regular mode or a spicy mode where different combinations of cards come into play, which is indicated by the extra cards in the bottom of some of these. Not all of them have them, most of them have them. Some of them only have one card in the corner there, and of course the 7 has none, because if you collect all 3 7s, which are exactly in the middle and therefore the hardest to collect, you instantly win the game. So the rules are pretty straightforward, and that's really the game. You just need to remember which cards you saw either on the table or in other people's hands, and remember what's been played. Well, played cards are usually just on the table, so you can see which cards are out of the game, which numbers are gone. So then you will already know, okay, so maybe their next highest card that the other players have on their hands, if the 12 is gone, it's going to be the 11 or maybe the 10. And so you're going to have to do some gambling, some guessing, and just try to be the first person to gather 3 sets of 3 cards, or maybe try and get that 7. And that is just a lot of fun. It's super clever. It's fun when you know what somebody has, that you can steal a card from their hand. And you also know that if somebody makes a mistake because they remembered a card wrong, and you're like, oh, but I know where that card is, or something's revealed and you know where the other ones are, but they can't take that card because it was the third card they revealed, and you know, oh, that card, that's over here as well, and you have that in your hand, so next turn, or maybe you have one of those cards on your hand, so next turn you can make that another trio, and that is just very exciting and very fun. And you can tell when somebody else is gonna make a move, because you're, oh, they're gonna get that set now, so I can't go for that anymore. And it's just hilarious. It's a lot of fun. I think it's a very simple but clever game, and I can absolutely recommend it. And because it's a very quick game, the replayability is also very high. This is a game you're gonna want to play again and again and again. It's just that much fun. And because it's basically just numbers, the game is also 100% language independent, which also gets it some thumbs up from me. So that is my review. I can very much recommend this game, and I'd like to thank the publisher for giving me a copy to review. I've been having a lot of fun with this. It's a perfect game to just bring along and play if you have some minutes to spare and you've got some people there. It is, of course, starting at 3, so you can play it with 2 people, of course, because of the memory aspect and what you have in your hands. That would be too easy. So yeah, absolutely fun game. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and please also check out my Patreon page if you'd like to support what I do by clicking the link in the description below or the icon at the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Board Game Heaven.